Hello, everyone, wherever this finds you. I hope you're well. If not, may you get well soon. Today, I would like us to talk about a very delicate topic, a topic that has affected so many young girls, including boys, that has caused a lot of trauma in the life of very young people, right from childhood. Sexual abuse in the home, not just outside, in the home. It is true what they say, that your enemy is right under your roof. So many people have suffered sexual abuse in silence for years. Some have talked about it, have shared, and the culprits have been apprehended. But most get away with this because the question that is always asked is, where is the evidence? It is true, sometimes we are not able to keep watch of our children 24/7 because at this we have to go to work, we have to provide for them, we have to do other duties too. And sometimes we have to leave them with people that we, in our hearts and in our minds, we believe that we can trust. But it turns out that right under our roofs, some of the people that we live with our children are actually the abusers. Now, as a parent, you might be too busy, but I need you to take note of some of the signs that your child is being abused sexually, whether it's a girl, she's a girl, or a boy. Right now, in the kind of life and generation you're living in, you cannot just leave it to the girls. We must protect both the boys and the girls. Take keen interest in how your child's behavior changes. And one of the signs is that behavioral change. One day the child was bubbly, one day the child was playing all over the place, one day the child was very happy and excited, and then suddenly this child seems withdrawn. They don't want to talk, they don't want to play, they don't want to mingle with other kids. As a parent, you need to have your antennas up. If you notice that the behavior of your child has changed somehow, you need to question why. The other one is, number 2, is the child suddenly goes back to things that they had already outgrown. A child who actually knew how to use, had already been potty trained, for instance, suddenly they are wetting their beds, pooping on themselves, crying unnecessarily. If you notice that a child had already outgrown these stages in their lives and suddenly they go back, something is causing this. So it is important that you take your time to figure out, talk to this child, follow up, find out why the child suddenly went back to what they had already outgrown. Do not assume. Oh, and by the way, do not beat them up, because you will be worsening the situation. You will have actually sent the child back to the culprit. Number 3 is the use of inappropriate sexual knowledge. Like the child suddenly says things that you as a parent, you're taken aback. How did you know that? Where did you get that from? Their language has changed. Or if their language has not changed, somehow they're behaving in a way that demonstrates that somehow they have acquired some knowledge that they didn't have previously. If they're playing around with their toys and you notice that they are making some kind of sexual advances using their toys that are inappropriate for their age, that child is already exposed. Take your time with the child. Find out what happened. Do not assume. In other cases, more especially abuse that happens within the family, where the child is threatened, the child is scared and they cannot speak, you will notice that maybe the molester or the abuser has caused some harm, physical harm on the body of the child. So if you notice any physical harm, bruises on the body, burns, strange scratches that you don't expect the child to get when they're playing out there, don't just, and you did not actually beat them either. Do not assume that this child was just playing and they fell down. Somebody is silencing that child. The child is being abused. The other sign of sexual abuse in your home is when the child is avoiding being home with some people. When you notice that your child is avoiding particular rooms, they are scared or they scream when you try to get into those rooms with them. Or when you want to leave and you're leaving them with someone, they're always screaming. Or they're begging you not to leave them behind. Or when you notice that the child refuses practically, they don't want to go home from school. Or they sit somewhere by the road and wait for you until you get back. You should take notice of these circumstances and find out what really is going on. Because chances are very high that the person who is actually abusing your child is right under your roof. It might be somebody very close to you. It might be somebody so dear to you. It might be somebody you love so much. It might be someone you're blood related. Or even a maid that you have in your house. So do not take any of the signs that you see for granted. Because a child does not shift their interest or their love for somebody for no reason. Kids are very sensitive. We are told they are angels, and yes, they are angels. But when you notice that the angel is trying to avoid somewhere or someone, then there is something going on that you need to take keen interest in. Another sign of sexual abuse in the home is sleep disturbances. A child who had a routine, because most of the time when our kids are young, we give them, or we put them into some kind of program. There's a routine. They're supposed to be eating by a particular time, and they're supposed to be in bed by a particular time and waking up at a particular time. But you notice that this child somehow is not falling asleep. They're struggling to sleep. And if they do, they're having lots of nightmares. They're always screaming in their sleep. Something is bothering this child psychologically. They might not be able to speak it out. They might not be able to express it to you in words, but they are communicating. They are communicating. Unless this child is sick, then you'd say, okay, maybe they are not able to sleep because they are sick, then they need to see a doctor. But if this child is okay, and from the look of things, they are not sick, they are mentally unwell, they are tortured, they are psychologically stressed because something is wrong, something wrong is going on. The seventh sign of sexual abuse in your home is eating disorders. Eating disorders. They had the appetite very high up. The girl was eating well, the boy was eating well. Suddenly they don't want food. They're not able to eat. Their eating pattern has totally changed. or they're suddenly eating too much. Things they didn't like, they're suddenly eating the things they never used to eat. As a parent, you need to pay attention. As a parent, you need to question this. As a parent, do not assume, do not think that, oh, they're just growing up, they'll grow over it, things like that. No, no, no. Something is not okay. Another sign of sexual abuse is in the academics. They're school going already, and you've noticed this child has been performing well, they're participating in class, but you get reports from school that they've stopped their participation, their grades are going down, they're not talking with their friends, they're not socializing like they used to. Something changed in the life of that child. And it is about time you took interest. Something changed. Physical contact. Fear of physical contact is another sign of sexual abuse. Your child does not want anybody to touch them, even you. They don't want you to get close to them. And if somebody does, you see their reaction. Suddenly, they get so aggressive or offended or even start crying. When this happens, something is not right. Lastly, sometimes children give you hints of what is going on because the abuser has already threatened them, has scared them. Most times they've been told, if you tell someone, I'll kill you. If you tell someone, I'll kill your mom. If you tell someone, I'll kill your brother or your sister, and things like that. And they get so scared. But now, because they're trying to communicate to you and they're trying to tell you what is happening, but they cannot tell you this directly, they will give you hints. They will try to say things or some past comments in the process of a conversation just to make you notice. Pay attention to what they say. Make sure you're paying attention to what they say. Now, I have mentioned at least about 9 or 10 signs of sexual abuse. One of them is change of behavior. They've suddenly changed. They're withdrawing. They don't want to be mingling with anybody. The other one is they go back to what they had already unlearned, like bedwetting, pooping on themselves, and things like that. They show or actually speak very inappropriate sexual language that is beyond their age. And when you notice that there are so many physical signs on their body, like bruises, burns, scratches, crutches, something is not going on. Something is not right. And when they try to avoid physical contact, they're avoiding anyone touching them or getting close to them. They're avoiding certain rooms or places in their house or any other hidden rooms. They're not getting enough sleep. They're always having nightmares or screaming in their sleep, such kind of things. Change of their eating habits, their academic and social behaviors are going down. It is time you took interest as a parent. I know that as I talk about this, it brings in painful memories to some of the parents, because some parents have went through this abuse while they were young. and they know what it means. They know how much it affected them growing up. But I'm also talking about this because you as a parent, you are a parent now. You are an aunt, you are a cousin, you're an uncle, you've adopted a child. You have the responsibility of protecting these children under your care. It is important. It is important that parents take very keen interest in their children, especially the people that they hang around. Some of them are manipulated, some are groomed. Take keen interest in what is going on with your child. Now, it is important that you have a talk with your child. You can have preventive measures way before. One of the ways is to talk to your children about boundaries. Talk to your children about boundaries. It doesn't matter how young they are. Do not wait. Talk to your children about boundaries. Talk to your children about privacy. Talk to your children about honesty and speaking out. So that if anything happens, they do not keep it a secret, they come to you. Can you be your child's confidant? Can you be the person that your child runs to when they do not know where to turn? I know this topic is not easy for many. I know that this is an area that has affected so many. But I also know that we can do something to prevent it from happening. Communicate with your child. And if you have discovered that one of the persons under your roof are actually abusing your child, parents, I will beg you, do not, and I say it again, do not protect the abuser. Do not protect the abuser. In the name of protecting the family, in the name of protecting the family name, in the name of you don't want people to know about it, in the name of your family name will be dragged in the mud and things like that. No. Do not protect the abuser, no matter what. Always stand up for your child. It is not easy to be a parent, and especially a working parent, when you leave your children in different hands so many times. This includes school. This includes school. This includes the playground. This includes the bathroom, toilet breaks, sleepovers. Watch out for your child like a hawk. The society, the world today is not what it used to be. Watch out for your child. I'm hoping that you've learned something, and I'm hoping that you've reflected on some of the things you've observed on your child, your niece, your cousin, or your nephew. Be keen. Let us try as much as we can to safeguard the lives of our children. But this can only happen if you are keen, you communicate, you check, you observe, you find out, and you take action. I hope that somehow we will have a safe space every day for our children. I want to wish all the parents in the world out there that as you will be watching this, think about the safety of your child in every way. Thank you so much for listening to me. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, say something. I hope I see you again next time. I wish you all safety with your children and all the children in the world. Thank you. Bye until next time.